Once upon a time, in a small village called Obudon, life was simple and beautiful. The land was green, and the air smelled of rain and palm wine. Children played in the fields, women sang as they pounded yam. And the men returned from the forest with baskets full of snails and palm fruits. But among these children were three who were known far and wide for their stubbornness. Praise, the loudest and most daring, Favour, who followed trouble with a smile. And David, who always wanted to prove he feared nothing. Their parents loved them, but never allowed anyone to correct them. Whenever an elder tried to discipline them, the parents would say, "Do not touch my child. Leave them alone." So the children grew fearless, too fearless. Through the heart of Obudon flowed a great river, wide, calm, and glittering by day, feared and forbidden by night. It was the lifeblood of the village, the pride of the people. It fed them with fish and stories, carried canoes to faraway markets, and gave the land its strength. By day, it was quiet and gentle, carrying fishermen's songs on its back. It looked ordinary, harmless even. But when night came, the water grew restless. Whispering sounds were heard, soft, low, and haunting. As if the river remembered the voices of those it had taken long ago. Strange lights flickered on its surface, and the air around it turned cold. The elders said the river was alive, that it remembered every soul it ever took. And those who knew better never argued. No one dared to go near it after dusk, not even the bravest hunter. Once every market week, on the third night, strange whispers rose from its depths. On those nights, the town crier would beat his gong 3 times and warn. "Close your doors. Keep your lamps low. No one must walk the river path tonight." No one ever asked why. The warning was older than anyone alive. Every villager obeyed, except those who believed nothing could touch them. As they say, curiosity is a thing that grows in silence. Praise, Favour, and David, the stubborn children, laughed when the villagers warned them not to go near it. "They are just old tales," David would say. "Maybe the goddess is sleeping," Favour joked. One day, they agreed that when the town crier's gong sounded, they would go and see for themselves what the elders feared. On the agreed night, after the warning was given, Praise, Favour, and David gathered under the African star fruit tree, their secret meeting place. Praise scoffed, "Are we children? Let's go and see this so-called spirit river." David grinned, always eager to prove his bravery. Favour hesitated only for a moment, then followed as usual. The moon was bright, the air cold. And even the crickets were silent, too quiet for comfort. They walked toward the river, the grass brushing against their legs. Their laughter soft but nervous. When they reached the riverbank, the water looked calm, still and silver under the moonlight. They laughed, threw stones, and mocked the villagers' fears. The ripples spread, then died. "See," Praise said. "There's nothing here. All that talk is just." The water rippled again, once, twice. Then began to move, as if something huge was stirring beneath. A cold wind blew from the river, sharp and sudden. The trees bent. The ground trembled. A voice rose from the water, soft, distant, like a woman singing beneath the surface. Who calls the river when the river calls the sky? David froze. Favour clutched his arm. The voice came again, stronger. The land was warned, the hour was given. Why do you mock the deep? The children stood frozen. Suddenly, the water glowed blue, rising like a curtain. From it emerged a woman with riverweed for hair and glowing eyes that saw everything. David screamed. Favour trembled. Praise tried to run first. But the river was faster. A wave rose, wrapped around David and Favour, and pulled them under. Praise, barefoot and shaking, escaped and ran back to the village, crying hysterically. By dawn, he was found lying beside his mother's hut. Eyes open, lips shaking, unable to speak. Soon, David's and Favour's parents noticed their children missing. Panic followed. The villagers searched every home, every corner. Then, near the riverbank, one of the women fetching water screamed. There, neatly placed on the sand, were 2 pairs of slippers, David's and Favour's. Villagers gathered and called their parents to confirm. When they saw the slippers, the mothers wailed and fell to the ground. The elders summoned the chief priest. He examined the river, nodded, and said, "The river has remembered. A sacrifice must be made." The grieving parents were given a list of items to bring to appease the river. They returned with what was required: a white goat, a chicken, raw eggs, kola nuts, palm oil, and a bottle of Fanta for the spirits. The chief priest stood by the water, chanting in ancient tongue. He poured the offerings into the river and spoke. "Return what you have taken. Let there be peace." The river remained silent for a while. It was not until the next morning that the bodies washed ashore, pale, still, eyes closed as though dreaming. They were buried by the river's edge, and the priest sealed the ground with chalk and blood. From that day on, whenever the town crier's gong sounds at night, no child asks why. No parent argues. The river remembers. And now, even the wind listens.